Krishna Kirtana Ganana Tanaparam Premamritam Vanidhi Kujat Kokilaham Sansara Sugana Kirne Mayurakuli Nana Ratani Madhamula Pitapa Sri Jukta Vrindavani Radha Krishna Mahannisang Prabhajatau Jivarthadau Jaubuddha Bande Rupa Sanatana Raghajaga Sri Jiva Gopalaka.
Hare Krishna, glories to Srila Prabhupada and the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Good to see you, Vijaya Pandit, in Italy. I know you're traveling or on marathon, so this is the time of year for this, for many devotees. And we are also on a marathon of spreading the message of Srila Prabhupada in a unadulterated format. Prabhupada, I was listening to a lecture yesterday by Srila Prabhupada, and I was waiting to get the date so I could refer it to all of us so you could read it, but he talked about the Gaudiya Math, and he was saying a great institution was spoiled by some unscrupulous behavior of certain individuals, a great movement. And so like that, the Krishna Consciousness movement had a tremendous amount of momentum when Prabhupada was alive with us in his manifested form. This morning I was listening, Yaśodā, to Prabhupada speaking at Toronto Temple on June 20th, 1976. And if you get a chance, everyone, go to Vanipedia or wherever you can source it, and you can hear this wonderful lecture that he gave to all of us. And it was interesting, Vijay Pandit, that I was there at the lecture. Not only was I there at the lecture, I was also absorbed in multiple activities to facilitate Prabhupada's visit for the grand opening of the Toronto Temple and his chance to sit on the Vyasa-san and present Krishna consciousness to our expanding community at the time. So Prabhupada was extremely excited to be there. I still remember vividly so many different things. They're coming back to me more and more as we continue our work in the Prabhupada Hare Krishna Society Prabhupada Disciples Association. Starts to come back more and more, listening, continuing to chant, hear the philosophy. Then your life with the Sankirtan movement becomes revived when, for whatever reason, we all go through these trials and tribulations in life. If for some of us who were part of the movement back then, the guru system came into play and everybody was just eliminated. That was basically it. Maybe not right away, but in a little while. Like Prabhupada had sent me a letter. After we got the building, he sent me a telegram from Nairobi. He said, "Congratulations, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami." And then he sent a letter. "It's a topmost triumph that you've got this building for Krishna." Topmost triumph. Now you have to put that in perspective, how Prabhupada came in 1965 with nothing, and all of a sudden we have this huge church 25,000 square foot church for him made out of stone from Stony Creek here in Hamilton, special stone. One of the gateways to the city of Toronto. And there's Prabhupada sitting on the Vyasa-san, presenting the philosophy of Krishna consciousness to a packed house in the temple back then. So it was a great experience. And we will discuss that further as we move along together and continue to present this philosophy for the benefit of all of our members in the Hare Krishna Society Prabhupada Disciples Association. Yes, because teamwork, everyone, is key to success. And Prabhupada said this, and all of you can look it up. If you work cooperatively together, this will be a demonstration of your love for me, to work together. Unfortunately, it did not happen after he left this planet. It became more difficult for many of us to participate in the mission with the same enthusiasm we had. Actually, it went away very fast because of the unfortunate behavior of just a few. Wasn't everyone. Of unfortunate behavior of just a few, and that devastated this society. And so we started this Hare Krishna Society. It was started in 2002, and we were further by Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu and a group of devotees, and we've continued to expand it now. And we began the Prabhupada Disciples Association in January 2002 on Facebook as a first vehicle. And now we're approaching we have over 13,000 members in the Prabhupada Disciples Association. And our association has a large list of things to do, and we're working on them, like a magazine, a quarterly magazine, a newsletter, festivals, events, classes, courses, prasadam distribution, book distribution, all these programs we're working on step by step as we pick up the pieces and carry on with the mission. So teamwork is the essence. Nobody wins without a good team. It doesn't matter if it's a sports team, a political party, a medical team. Everybody that's half intelligent realizes that you have to work together with other people and take a role. Everyone needs to understand that, especially in our group. This is not going to happen without everyone's positive input. And that's what we're hoping that we'll receive as we move forward. And if you have any questions about what we're doing, feel free to get in touch with us through our website. You can send a message to the Hare Krishna Society. And to any one of us individuals in this group, and the information will be conveyed to them. And then this way, we can all work together, cooperatively, to demonstrate our love for our spiritual master in the spirit of Krishna consciousness, the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Now we're going to carry on with our wonderful reading of the diaries of Srila Prabhupada here today. And I noticed it appears that I might have missed a section on August 8th about the newspaper article that appeared in the Calcutta Dainik Basumati. So let's go to that. This newspaper article announcing Srila Prabhupada's departure for the West appeared in the Dainik Bashumati, a Bengali newspaper in Calcutta. The translation of the article is as follows: the Lord's message goes to America. Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prithiviti Achi Yata Nagaradi Ram Sarvatra Prachara Hoibe Mora Nam. That prophecy is going to be fulfilled now. Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami, a resident of Vrindavan, has translated the Srimad Bhagavatam into English in 60 volumes with word-for-word meaning and purports. Before this great work could be appreciated by his countrymen, people from far off America have expressed their admiration of his supernatural achievement and have invited him so that they may meet him in person and acquaint themselves with his work. Hence, he is departing from Calcutta for New York this 12th day of August. Tuesday the 12th. Oh, excuse me. We're in September. No wonder I was. Vinkabata. I guess I'm glad I read that again, by the way. No harm. What did I send to you, brother?
You sent
Friday the
13th.
Friday the 13th. Excuse me, everyone. Is that Monday?
This is Friday the 13th, August, I think. I think we've already read this, though.
Yeah, we have. So, unfortunately, did I send forward any other? I think we're already at Monday, the 13th of September.
Okay.
Did I send that to you?
Those. No, I don't have those.
I'll just take one page then and I'll send it over right now. And then we can continue on carefully with our study. Everything, as you all know, every time you read, everything seems ever fresh. And we have so much going on. I just can't believe that I made this mistake. To err is human. It's a sort of a mistake because it's transcendental. So this is Monday the 13th of. Did you get that, Vinkabata? Yeah, Monday the 13th. Today is the 32nd day of our journey from Calcutta. After midnight yesterday, the lurching increased and I felt relief in the morning. Also, I could not take my breakfast properly. Then I cooked bhati chachari. I appeared to be delicious and I was able to take some food. Today, I have disclosed my mind to my companion, Lord Sri Krishna. There is a Bengali poem made by me today in this connection. At about 11, they're still lurching. The captain tells that they never had such calmness in the Atlantic. It is said, I said it is Lord Krishna's mercy. His wife asked me to come back again and with them so they may have again a calm Atlantic Ocean. If the Atlantic would have shown its usual face, perhaps I would have died. But Lord Krishna has taken charge of the ship. Tuesday the 14th, today is the 33rd day of our journey, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, I saw the sky cloudy with dim moonlight. From morning till 1 o'clock, the sky remained cloudy, and at 1:30 p.m., there was a shower of rain. The sky is still cloudy, and the wind is blowing from southeast corner and raining at intervals. The whole day passed in that way, and the wind assumed a paracyclonic face with dense cloud resulting in rain till 9:30 p.m. with regular lightning. Frightening journey, especially for a person like him coming from Radha Damodar Temple in Vrindavan. All of a sudden, here he is in the middle of a tempest in the ocean. Paracyclonic face with dense cloud resulting in rain till 9:30 p.m. with regular lightning. At 10 o'clock, when I was talking in the captain's room, the chief engineer, Mr. Travers, told me that he had never had such experience of calm and quietness of the Atlantic Ocean. There was always typhoon, cyclone, fog, etc., at least for days in every trip in the past. I said it was Lord Krishna's grace. If such things as usual in Atlantic would have taken place, I would die. So he refers again to the death, possibility of death. And finally, Wednesday the 15th, today, 34th day of our journey. As usual, I rise at 3 a.m., and I went to the veranda. I saw the sky almost clear. There was moonshine on head, and although the wind from southeast was strong, the ocean was clear visioned, and the ship was passing smoothly. At about 11 a.m., the sky again became overcast with cloud, and it is continued till 3 p.m. There was rainfalls at intervals, but after 4 o'clock, the sky became clear, and there was bright sunshine. I was engaged in reading Kalya-daman Leela from Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the prayers for Srimati Nagapatnis and the last appealing prayer by Kalya. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and his journey to America to begin the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all of us. We'll proceed forward with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava, the bhajan with Srila Prabhupada, and then we'll have the reading of Bhagavad-gītā As It Is with His Grace Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu from Twain Harte, California. All glories to the Sankirtan mission.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Amasva Paramangsa Paribhrajagacharya Sattare Srismadhati Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai Ananta Kodi Vaishnava ki Jai Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki Jai Prem se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Bhog Gopinath Sam Khand Radha Khand Girivardhan ki Jai Vrindavan Dham ki Jai नवदीप धाम की जाए, गंगा माई की जाए, जमुना माई की जाए, गुरु द्वारका धाम की जाए, स्वामी तो भक्तविंद की जाए, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू देयर समिति, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू देयर समिति। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya, Narayanam namaskritya, Naram cheva narottamam, Naram cheva narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayam Mudirayat, Tato Jayam Mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Nara-Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad-gītā. Today we will be reading first the introduction, the Sanskrit verses that were given by Srila Prabhupada in the beginning of the Bhagavad-gītā. We invite everyone to follow along. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Anvitam tam sajivam Sadvetam savadhutam Parijana sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi pranamami haripriye vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Again, welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad-gītā. It should be noted that all synonyms, translations, and purports and commentaries are from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Today we will be reading from chapter 10, text number 9. Machita madgata prana, machita madgata prana, bodhayantaha parasparam, bodhayantaha parasparam, katayantas chamam nityam, katayantas chamam nityam, tushyanti cha ramanti cha, tushyanti cha ramanti cha, machitaha, minds fully engaged in me, madgata prana, lives devoted to the service of Krishna, bodhayantaha, preaching, parasparam, among themselves, katayantaha, chen, cha, talking, also, mam, about me, nityam, perpetually, tushyanti, are pleased, cha, also, ramanti, enjoy transcendental bliss, cha, also. Translation: the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, their lives are surrendered to me, and they derive great satisfaction in bliss, enlightening one another and conversing about me. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subject. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe. And out of them, there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed, and if it is sown in the heart of a living entity, and if he goes on hearing and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies, just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahmajyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky also, that plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavana, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as a plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of devotional service is fully described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God. Then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord, just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narration about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees. In this narration, there is nothing about material activities, sense gratification, or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is fully described. Thus, the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literatures, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaham Namaom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Bhagavad-vandanam Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshatah Adadanastrinam Danter Idam Yachi Punaha Punaha Srimad Rupa Padam Bhoja Dhulisyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatosmyaham Sadadaso Asmi Sarvata Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Preshta Karomi Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In the Mahabharata, there is a section called the Vishnu Sahasranama Mahatmya, or the glories of reciting 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. And there are different verses explaining the potency of chanting the name of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu. It is also stated there, very similar to this verse of Bhagavad-gītā, that for the devotees of Lord Krishna who are engaged in the service of Krishna, they are protected by the Lord himself and do not suffer the influence of birth, death, old age, and disease, just like materialistic persons. They have special protection. Now, the argument may be raised, well, why does Krishna give special protection? It seems he's discriminating for his devotees. It is not quite like that. Just like a father may be very kind to all children, but he'll be especially kind to his own children. That is natural. Similarly, Krishna is very merciful and kind to his devotees who are engaged in his service. Janma mrityu jara vyadi bhayam neva upajayate. There are so many instances of devotees who have received the special protection of Krishna. We see in the lives of our Srila Prabhupada, just like we were reading earlier, Vishwakarma Prabhu was reading from this diary of Srila Prabhupada, how Srila Prabhupada is describing the ocean, how the ocean became very calm. Some of you may have seen this picture of Lord Krishna, and there's the Jaladuta, and Krishna is rowing the boat, bringing Srila Prabhupada to America, along with the Dasavatar, the 10 incarnations. Everybody has heard the story, how Srila Prabhupada suffered 2 heart attacks at sea. He may have died. And he had this special protection from Krishna. Just a year and a half later, in 1967, Prabhupada suffered another heart attack. And again, he was protected. So we see in the lives of the devotees, there are so many incidents. Everyone is familiar with the life of the celebrated devotee, Haridas Thakur. In Bengal, they call him Yavana Haridas because he was born in a family of Yavanas, of Muslims, Mohammedans. They call him Yavana Haridas. He was condemned by the local emperor to be flogged at least 21 times in different marketplaces, basically to kill him. But some way or other, by Krishna mercy, he survived. In the Mahabharata, we see the story of the 5 Pandavas. There are so many stories. Everyone has heard the story how Duryodhana and his father wanted to send the Pandavas to the house of lac, which was a house which had been specially constructed to be a fire trap. Specially constructed, and Vidura gave him hints, gave him subtle hints that this house is very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And they basically constructed a tunnel under the house so that he could escape. So in the lives of the devotees, there are so many instances where Krishna is protecting the devotees. We see in other places in Bhagavad-gītā where Lord Krishna is describing Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Janaha Paryupashate Tesham Nitya Bhayuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Everyone is familiar in this material world. In order to protect oneself from very dangerous situation, people buy insurance policies. Insurance policies for the car, for their trucks, insurance policies for their lives, insurance policies for their home, and they will pay different amounts. Just like we live here in a situation in Northern California, which is considered the highest fire severity zone in the United States, fire-prone area. So they will sell you a policy of fire insurance, home insurance, but very costly. So similarly, in the material world, there is a policy. There is a life insurance policy for all the devotees. What is that? This is described here. Matchita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam. We see in the Bhagavad-gītā, in the 18th chapter, Krishna describes what is that insurance policy. Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam braja. That surrender everything unto me. Well, what will be the benefit? Ma suchaha, do not worry. I've got you covered, Krishna promises. I've got things under control. I will protect you. We see in the story of Lord Ramachandra in the Ramayana how Hanuman, the celebrated devotee of Lord Ramachandra, at one point went to Sri Lanka and they tried to set his tail on fire, thinking that they will kill the monkey. Instead, Hanuman went everywhere and he set fire to the entire Sri Lanka, the kingdom of Ravana. And some way or other, he was able to escape. Now, Hanuman is no ordinary devotee. He's a special devotee. But we see in so many instances, devotees are protected. Every time that we do this deity worship in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, there's a nice prayer recommended by Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Sanatan Goswami in his commentary. Pratigyatava Govinda name bhakta pranashyati iti samsmritya pranam sandarayamyaham. At the end of doing the deity worship in the morning, it is recommended that one should offer respectful obeisances and pray to the deity to be forgiven for any offenses which may have been committed. And one of those prayers is so sweet. This is the prayer that Draupadi gave to Lord Krishna when the wicked Kurus were trying to disrobe her. He says, Pratignatava Govinda. Pratigna means the oath, the solemn promise from Lord Krishna, that you have promised, Pratignatava Govinda, Name Bhakta Pranashyati, that your devotee will never perish. This is well known in the Bhagavad-gītā, Lord Krishna's promise. Iti samsmritya. By remembering this again and again, pranam sandarayamyam, that I simply maintain my life, simply remembering this promise of yours. Pratignatava Govinda name bhakta pranashyati. The story of Prahlad Maharaj is also very instructive. His demonic father, Hiranyakashipu, was trying to give him trouble. He harassed him, put him in jail, try to throw him off a cliff, try to poison him, try to beat him, try to scare him. But ultimately, Lord Krishna protected him. He came out in the avatar of Lord Narasimha to protect his devotee. So one should not be doubtful about this transcendental process. Incidentally, I wanted to interrupt the reading here just to mention, I'm looking at one of the pictures. There's a very nice Vaishnavi lady, Ramya Devi Dasi, and she has a beautiful, gorgeous altar on the screen with a picture of Srila Prabhupada, deities, and everything. It is very, very sweet, very sweet. But the point I'm trying to say is that the Shastras, the sacred scriptures, give us so many instructions, so many examples of the protection of Lord Krishna. And some of you may have experienced this in your life. I remember one time Sudama Prabhu, Sudama Maharaj, before he was dying, he was living with me in Badger, California. And he was telling me, because a lot of times when people are about to die, they will spill out many, many intimate secrets or intimate realizations that they have had. And what happened is Sudama was explaining his experiences with Prabhupada after Prabhupada departed. That he had fallen on hard times. He had had very difficult times. And one time he was in a bathroom somewhere. And he was on the floor. He was on the floor almost dying. And he said that Srila Prabhupada, in some unknown force, picked him up, stood him up, told him to wake up and start chanting. Start chanting. And he understood that this was the mercy of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. Of course, one may believe or not believe these kind of incidents. That is irrelevant. The fact is, we know from the Shastra that Krishna protects this transcendental process. Like Prabhupada is describing here, pure devotees in plural. In the first paragraph, Prabhupada is mentioning about pure devotees. Now, there are different levels of pure devotees, as anybody who reads Srila Prabhupada's books and his teachings. There are neophyte pure devotees, and there are also the Mahabhagavata pure devotees. But one has to be very aware of the difference between the two kinds of devotees. We are aspiring devotees trying to practice devotionalism to become fully realized, fully liberated, completely pure devotees. But Prabhupada is indicating here those kind of devotees, the sadhakas. Prabhupada is explaining in the preliminary stage of devotional service in the second paragraph of text number 9. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection, which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. So there are so many descriptions in the Shastras of how the growth, how the development of this seed of bhakti takes place. And this is a very important point, because sometimes there's some kind of a misconception by persons with a poor fund of knowledge who do not quite understand the process, the bona fide authoress process of bhakti. And this is where Srila Prabhupada is so expertly presented in a very systematic, very detailed way. What is the process of bhakti? And if you have Bhagavad-gītā in front of you, you can refer to chapter 7, text number 1 on page 363. Srila Prabhupada quotes 5 verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. all of you are familiar who come on Sundays, we read a few verses every week from that second chapter of Bhagavatam, describing the effects of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada explains, Srinvatam Svakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Ridyantasto Yabadrani Vidunuti Surit Satam. And he quotes the next 4 verses. And Prabhupada explains, to hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures, or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad-gītā, is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best-wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamshayam samagram, understanding of the supreme truth, personality of Godhead. This is Srila Prabhupada's summary of Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, text 17 to 21. So this is a very important thing to understand. Although one may not be a perfectly pure, realized, completely perfect pure devotee, by engaging in the process as described by Prabhupada, Prabhupada considers these persons pure devotees. Like, for example, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada used the terminology, the pure devotees of the Krishna Consciousness movement. And if you study another verse, there's another place where Srila Prabhupada mentions that the pure devotee is personally embracing Krishna. Any difference between the two? Now, one may say, oh, there is no difference, because sometimes the argument is given by persons with a poor fund of knowledge. Well, what do you think, that Prabhupada was not a pure devotee enough to make another pure devotee? Well, one may argue, was Bhaktivedanta Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur pure enough to create another pure devotee? Who did they appoint or choose as their next pure devotee? The fact of the matter is, one has to understand carefully the language and intent of the spiritual master. It is not sufficient to argue. Somebody may say, oh, I was there, I was with Prabhupada, I spent some time with him, or I was physically with him. Oh, that is nice. That is your good fortune. We are very appreciative that you were very fortunate, that you got that special mercy, but that is no guarantee of spiritual understanding. Because we practically see from a historical perspective that many persons, many individuals who had a lot of personal, physical, direct physical association with these two great, illustrious, pure devotees, His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, we have seen that after their respective departures, many of these persons became some of the biggest deviants, and in some instances, the biggest debauchees. So just to argue, oh, I was there with Prabhupada and I understand better than all of you, well, that's a nice claim. Then how did you deviate so much? How did you concoct so many nonsense ideas? Like this false idea of putting on the uniform of the guru and it's going to tell you what to do. Where did Prabhupada ever teach this nonsense proposition? But persons who are ambitious, afflicted and infected by personal ambition, profit, adoration, distinction, their intelligence becomes confused and bewildered by that personal ambition, and they start slipping. They start in this path of Maya. What is that Maya? How does Krishna describe this Maya? Ahamkara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. One starts to think, I'm the doer. This belongs to me. That belongs to me. And so many different illusions come in under the influence of false ego. When one chooses to deviate from the order of the spiritual master, from the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master, and concoct many different things under the influence of false ego, then we see all kinds of problems. I was just telling a devotee yesterday how in 1978, one of those devotees who had a lot of personal, physical, direct association with Prabhupada, made a statement, this is my temple, this is my money, these are my followers, my disciples, and I can do whatever I want with it. And my reply is, this is a perfect example of false ego on steroids. We're supposed to think that everything belongs to Krishna, that everything belongs to the spiritual master, that everything belongs to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, not to think I'm the proprietor, this is mine, this is your zone, my zone. This is all nonsense. Why? Simple, because our great acharyas have not taught us to think like that nonsense person. Masjadmana phalamidam maduketa bari mat prartaniya madanugra esha eva tvad britya paricharika britya sirbritya iti mam smaralokanata. We have heard that great King Kulashekar, he was one of the 12 Alvars, great personalities, great saints mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prior to the appearance of Ramanujacharya, he composed a book called Mukunda Malastotra, which was quoted by our Srila Prabhupada, by both Bhaktivedanta Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta as a nice examples of what is bhakti, what is devotion. In that prayer, he's expressing, my dear Lord, killer of the Madhu and Kaitaba demon, you are the Lord of the universe. I only have one favor to ask from you. Please let me be the servant of your servant of your servant. He says it 7 times. This is the mentality we're supposed to have. Not to think, oh, I'm so exalted, I was there, I understand better than all of you morons and peasants. This is mine, this is yours. This is all nonsense. And one should learn to avoid hearing from such persons. One should avoid listening to their nonsense interpretations, to whom it may concern. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada, and thank you for that very energetic, inspiring explanation of this verse and a further deeper understanding of the situation that all of us are in our journey back home, back to Godhead, because Prabhupada explains that devotional service is called the seed of devotion, Bhakti Lata Bija. And Prabhupada has carefully given us insight in today's purport on our particular position. And I'd like the Vinkat Bhatta, if you could go, Prabhu, to the purport, just on the first page there, where Prabhupada is talking about the good fortune of a person that meets a pure devotee. It's a very great opportunity. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe, and out of them, there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. I can think about our situation here in Hamilton back in the 70s, that somehow or other, Prabhupada, through his representatives, his disciples, came to Hamilton and they infused this town with Krishna consciousness. And we had 19 Prabhupada disciples initiated here in Hamilton, Ontario. One of the largest collections of devotees to join the Sankirtan movement in North America from one town. I can remember back then that Toronto had no devotees from Toronto, which is a large city. Everybody was imported from different cities. So very fortunate to meet. We feel very blessed to meet the pure devotee. And even after 50 years, we're still relishing the opportunity, all of us together in this group, the opportunity to hear from him how to go back to Godhead. This devotional service is just like a seed. And if it is sown in the heart of a living entity, and if he goes on hearing and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering. This is a transcendental insight, everyone, into the Brahmajyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky, also the planet grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavan, the supreme planet of Krishna. So Prabhupada was giving a lecture in Toronto, I mentioned earlier in the opening of our program, on June 20th, 1976. And I think if you have a chance, go to Prabhupada Vani and try to source the lecture. It's a very interesting lecture that I was fortunate enough to be at, although it was even more engrossing, interesting today listening to it while I was cooking prasadam for the household here. But nonetheless, Prabhupada was talking about East Indian people, because there was a large gathering of East Indian people that came for the Sunday feast lecture. It was the first one that Prabhupada had given in the church, which is the largest temple in North America in a Christian church. So it was packed with people who were coming to celebrate the grand opening. And Prabhupada was specifically encouraging them. You're from India. You have a natural heritage that is Krishna conscious. Yes, it's natural. But despite the fact that when he was in India, as we read earlier, people weren't very much interested in what he had to say when he was in India. So why not get on a boat according to the orders of his spiritual master and travel to North America and start the preaching here? And he found a fertile ground here. So then in the lecture, he says, and just see, because remember, the Toronto temple was purchased with the efforts of all of us Westerners. All of us. There was no Indian participation at that time to buy this, what is now worth about a $45 million building up from the Parliament buildings. It's called the Gateways to Toronto on Avenue Road. But back then, no, it was hard work of the membership. It was a team that did it. We worked together. I don't want to get into the pastime right now because it was a journey to get there, and it was a great success, which Prabhupada noted. But during the lecture, Prabhupada mentioned to all of us, he said he was targeting the East Indian community, and he was saying, but see, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, even people here in the West can preach Krishna consciousness, and they are doing it successfully simply by chanting Hare Krishna. We used to have great kirtans there for Prabhupada, dancing in ecstasy and taking prasadam. And this way, the seed, everyone, of devotional service becomes watered through this process. Prabhupada was expressing to us how simple this whole thing is. Just simply follow it. Don't change it. Don't manufacture anything. Don't concoct. Don't speculate. And in this way, we'll be successful because it's simple for the simple and difficult for the crooked. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, if you could further explain to us.
Well, these are very important points. When Prabhupada was in Chandigarh in October of 1976, we were there with Srila Prabhupada, and there was a big press conference with newspaper, radio reporters, and all kinds of local reporters from Delhi, from Punjab, from Haryana, from all over North India. And it was a very big program, very successful program. And with all of these people, Prabhupada gave a lecture very similar to what you're describing here, the way that Prabhupada was talking in Toronto, telling them that you're all Indians, Bharat Bhumitoy Manushya Janmajar, that you are fortunate, you have taken this birth in Indian family, then therefore utilize this human birth to benefit other people.
Mm-hmm.
And Prabhupada says you should teach, and none of these people were initiated devotees. Prabhupada said you should learn to become a guru and teach Bhagavad-gītā as it is. Don't change the message. Prabhupada's point was do not change the message. And this is one of the biggest issues, one of the biggest problems confronting the Krishna consciousness movement, this adulteration of the message, interpretation of the message by motivated people who think they know better than everybody else because they were there, claiming that they have a special, unique understanding, but yet we see they do not hear properly what Prabhupada said. Why? Why don't people hear properly? Personal motivation. Prabhupada in that crowd of reporters was mentioning, teach the message, pick it up, get trained up and pick it up. This is simple. It is not a complicated thing. We picked it up from Prabhupada, and anybody who comes in contact with the message of Srila Prabhupada as the duty of preaching this message, give it to others. Whether you give some people a book, a small book, or some card saying, chant Hare Krishna, your life would be sublime. In the beginning, in the 1960s, when we went on Samkirtan, we used to have these cards. One side would say, chant Hare Krishna, there's the Mahamantra, your life will be sublime. That would be the address of the film, welcome to the Sunday feast. And we had little Back to Godhead magazine or these little leaflet, 2-page leaflet, the peace formula on chanting Hare Krishna, and invite people to participate. It was very simple preaching, but it became very effective. Why? Because it was directly presenting Srila Prabhupada's teaching and Prabhupada's message. Hare Krishna.
Yes, exactly. It's simple for the simple, difficult for the crooked. Those who have ulterior motives will always have trouble. And I was speaking to our godbrother. We'll move forward in a minute with our other members, some of our other members, to give their comments, like Janas Priya, Paranjana, and Ram Raghava. But I was speaking to our godbrother, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu Patita Pavana in Romania. I sent some posts to you this morning of our chat. It was I find it very enlivening. And Prabhupada explains it in these purports. It's very enlivening to associate with devotees. That's my favorite thing. I love to associate everyone with Yaśodā Prabhu. It's one of I spend a lot of time during the week listening to him explain the philosophy to me. And it's a great pleasure to hear it. So Patita Pavana says to me, these people that have deviated from Prabhupada's instructions, who have not studied thoroughly the books, who are acting out of motivation for personal success, they will live in the hell of disease. Very interesting. The disease of hell. In other words, the body can become very hellish if your karma is not properly positioned. If you don't have Krishna consciousness, you may suffer hell by disease. So we have to be very careful, everyone, to guard ourselves and work cooperatively with the Prabhupada Disciples Association and the Hare Krishna Society to liberate ourselves from this repeated birth and death. And I'd like to ask Janis Priya, I see he's posted this lecture. Maybe you could share some thoughts, and then Paranjana and Ram Raghava subsequently. Janis Priya in Hawaii.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. Yes, I was just thinking that Prabhupada must have been so happy when he got that temple, when he got there and saw that temple and it was a done deal. That must have been an amazing moment for all the people that put that together, especially Vishwakarma Prabhu, as we know. And it must have been, I saw Prabhupada opening the Krishna Balaram temple in 1975, when the doors opened for the first time. And it was like Christmas and a little kid opening a present. Prabhupada's smile was ear to ear. He was glowing. So it's amazing that Prabhupada came and gave us this opportunity to help him in this mission any way we can. And we should take advantage of this, as we read earlier on the Bhagavatam, that is extremely rare for a jiva to come in contact with a pure devotee. This is extremely rare. Mm-hmm. So even if we never met Prabhupada, we still could meet Prabhupada every day in his books, in his original books. He's very much present. As soon as we open that book, you feel Prabhupada's presence. Why? Because that was his intent. That's what he said. That was his greatest mission. He said, temples might fail, devotees might fail, but my books will never. So these books are very, very important, and we're so fortunate that we're trying to maintain this legacy of Srila Prabhupada, and we're not speculating, we're not inventing. We've seen that people that do that, it doesn't take very long. I've seen this plenty of times. Big so-called devotees, they start improving in Prabhupada's mission. And eventually, in a short time, they're totally gone, deviated, fallen, but gone away. So best to remain humble and simply follow the instructions that Prabhupada gave us. He says, everything you need, I've given you in my books. Do not go to Gaudiya Math, do not go to my God brothers. They will only confuse you. And because they are so envious of Prabhupada, when they saw Prabhupada's success, they all wanted to be Prabhupada, by hook or crook. So we got to be, if Prabhupada warned us or something, he just didn't warn us for nothing. This is a very important point. that these Gaudiya Math people, ISKCON is Gaudiya Math 3.0, same thing. Prabhupada said, please do not let my society that I have worked so hard become like Gaudiya Math. And what happened? So this is it's a great fight, but we're eager. Why? Because we know that whatever is Krishna and whatever is Prabhupada, there will be victory. So if we keep on pushing this movement, especially this group of devotees that gather here, nobody here is interested in becoming famous or taking money or cheating anybody. We don't have a need to cheat anybody. We're simply trying to present what Srila Prabhupada gave us in a very humble way, and we give it to anybody just like Srila Prabhupada did. This knowledge is there for anybody that wants to take it, and we see that people are taking this knowledge. We see that some of our other groups on Prabhupada Nugas, they're making groups just like on this group. We have initiations, and this is going on, and it'll keep on going on, and that's our duty to maintain this. And if we could not directly be involved in preaching, then we need to support those people like Vishwakarma, like Yaśodā-nandana, like Bhakti-ram. We need to support the people that are engaged, going out, chanting on the street, distributing books, buy books for them, give them a donation, invite people to these classes. Hare Krishna.
Jai, thank you very much. We have Paranjana in the west coast of America. If he could share some insights for us on today's discussion.
Haribol, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay. Well, recently I've been talking to some devotees about a devotee in India whose older brother died at only age 43. And apparently this older brother had gone through a very difficult time in ISKCON. And so the sister, who's kind of a famous pop star in ISKCON right now, she wrote, condolences about her brother and all that stuff. So it's a very sad situation that these people got a mixed up beach. They got excuse me, I got a little puppy I'm babysitting. But anyway, so this is the trouble. People have in ISKCON, they get a mixed up beads. They get a little bit of the bhakti beads and the social beads and the false guru beads and all these different things, and they become very mixed up. And it causes a lot of difficulty in making progress. And it's just like in the Charitamrita, it says you have to be very careful to remove the weeds. But what happens if you get a weed with the bhakti beads planted at the same time? So I think this is a big problem that people don't understand how this process works. You have to get the bhakti beads. You have to eliminate all of the false weeds and beads that are with us for millions of years. We've already had so many material weeds, in our consciousness, and we carry it around like a big bag of who knows what on our subtle platform. We can carry these conceptions and misconceptions for millions of years that we've got to. Just for example, Prabhupada says we were at one time in the Brahmajyoti, and so we might think that was our origin, but we have been to the Brahmajyoti many times. We've gone to the Brahmajyoti, we came back here, we went to the Brahmajyoti. So we're talking about, billions and really trillions of years that we've been just floating around here. So this is very important that we try to see these different beaches and weeds that are, imperceptibly surrounding our bhakti beads, and we're very careful to eliminate that, because if the weed takes over or becomes prominent in the garden, then the original bhakti beads will be hampered or even throttled down. Just what happens, That's right now. I'm working on my yard, and I got these horrible weeds. So I'm trying to pull them out before they take over where the grass is supposed to be growing. So very good example and very practical. But this is what's happened to ISKCON, and a lot of our senior devotees were overcome. They wanted this, they wanted that, and this lady who was writing about her brother, her father became a very prominent leader in ISKCON, and he had actually made many complaints about the GBC in 1986, but then in 1987 he all of a sudden was transported to becoming one of their big leaders. And she's the daughter of this leader, and so he jumped on board. They offered him a post, a position, and he that overtook his his better judgment, really. You know what I mean? So a lot of this is just common sense. You can't be motivated materially and motivated for position, motivated for money, and all the rest of it, and develop pure Krishna consciousness. It's not going to work. Haribol.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Ram Raghava, our God brother, I see that you're on the Zoom call today. Could you share some of your insights for our group gathered today for the Bhagavad-gītā As It Is reading and discussion? Ram Raghava.
I don't see him in the call, actually.
Oh, I guess he came and went. Anything you'd like to share from our posts or from the YouTube for discussion? Vinkat Bhatta, is there anything there?
No, not really.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so excellent. We're coming to the end of the program. It is 11:24, and I wanted to mention that we are moving ahead with many programs, and we look forward to presenting them to our group, our groups globally, and hopefully they will have the inspiration, as Jonas Priya was saying, to work along with us in a team-like fashion, because we can demonstrate to our spiritual master our love for him by how we work together cooperatively to spread his mission. So this is a real theme for our group, and I want everyone to think about it in their own particular place and circumstance and figure out what they want to do. We'll ask our spokesperson, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, to give us some last few comments, and then we'll move for the kirtan with Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, I want to address a point which comes up quite a bit, which is the idea of what happens when people take their initiation or their so-called Bhakti-lata Bij, or seed of devotional service, from unauthorized persons. And this is a section from Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 19, text 152. Madhya Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 19, text 152 in the purport. Prabhupada describes everything as an original cause or seed for any idea, program, plan, or device. There is first of all the contemplation of the plan, and that is called bija, or the seed. The methods, rules, and regulations by which one is perfectly trained in devotional service constitute the Bhakti-lata Bija, or seed of devotional service. This Bhakti-lata Bij is received from the spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. Other seeds are called Anya Bilasa Bija, Karma Bija, and Jnana Bija. If one is not fortunate enough to receive the Bhakti-lata Bija from the spiritual master, he instead cultivates the seeds of Karma Bija, Jnana Bija, or political and social or philanthropic Bija. However, Bhakti-lata Bija is different from these other Bijas. Bhakti-lata bija can be received only through the mercy of the spiritual master. Therefore, one has to satisfy the spiritual master to get Bhakti-lata bija. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadaha. Bhakti-lata bij is the origin of devotional service. Unless one satisfies the spiritual master, he gets the bija or root cause of karma, jnana, and yoga without the benefit of devotional service. However, one who is faithful to his spiritual master gets the Bhakti-lata bij. This Bhakti-lata bij is received when one is initiated by the bona fide spiritual master. After receiving the spiritual master's mercy, one must repeat his instructions, and this is called Shravana Kirtana, hearing and chanting. One who has not properly heard from the spiritual master, who does not follow the regulative principles, is not fit for chanting, Kirtana. This is explained in Bhagavad-gītā 2:41. So Srila Prabhupada goes on, the point is, if one does not receive the Bhakti-lata bij from an authorized person who has been duly authorized by the Acharya Srila Prabhupada, this is what's going to happen. Karma bij, jnana bij, or political and social or philanthropic bij. Hare Krishna.
Excellent. And it's a wonderful roundup of information for all of us to contemplate during our day's activities. And we look forward to seeing as many people as possible. Remember, all these classes are being recorded, and they're on our YouTube channel, Hare Krishna Society. And we have almost 177 classes that we've produced with our team. And there you can refer to them by going to the YouTube site. And you may also visit our website, the Hare Krishna Society. I believe it's up and running, Venkapata Prabhu? The website?
Right now, HareKrishnaSociety.org. If someone goes there, it's our old website, which used to be called Krishna Consciousness Movement. The new version of it is still upcoming. It'll, but as of now, they can still go there, HareKrishnaSociety.org.
Yeah, we're renovating the site, and it's going to be quite spectacular. So a tremendous resource for all of us to get further in-depth understanding of Prabhupada's teachings and instructions to help us all participate wholeheartedly in the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So tomorrow we'll see you hopefully if you're available, please come by on air at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the reading and discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's one of our most exciting programs every week. Of course, all the programs are amazing. For those who have a taste, there's never a dull moment. And we'll move forward now with the chanting of Hare Krishna, led by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami from back in the day. So chant along and enjoy the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasati Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna,